The meeting will come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the Fayette County School Corporation Board of School Trustees here at the Administration Building, Tuesday, February the 12th, 6:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as submitted or amended?
Mr. President,
Mr. Elder.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted and amended.
All right. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion, Mr. President.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Are there any patron comments on any of the agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on. Our consent agenda is the approval of the minutes from special session 1/7/13 and business meeting of 1/15/13. The personnel report, which included retirements, resignations, leaves of absences, etc. Approval of January 2013 claims 30591 to 30863. The annual listing of outstanding checks more than 2 years old. Acceptance of a donation of scrap steel from Contract Industrial Tooling valued at $200 to WTCC. Acceptance of grant of $3,500 from Rush Shelby Energy for the CHS Coral Department. What is your pleasure?
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on to the action items, personnel report, Dr. Bayer.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett, Dr. Hodges, members of the board. We have 4 persons for your consideration this evening. On first certified staff, Valerie Tipton, teacher at Maplewood, effective 2nd semester, January 7, 2013. Support staff members, Jamie Isaacs as a prime-time educational assistant at Fayette Central, effective January 22nd. Kisha Jackson, a receptionist at Connersville Middle School, effective January 23rd. And Charles Scott, a speech coach at the high school, effective January 25th, 2013. Those for your consideration this evening, Mr. Burchett.
Okay, board, what is your pleasure?
I move to accept the report.
Okay. Mr. Hilton.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carried. Now we have the Education Hall of Fame Selection Committee. Dr. Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board, in your packet, there's a memorandum describing this. I'm asking for you to affirm the appointment of teacher Denise Randolph and parent Laura West for 2-year terms on the Education Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and they will be joining patron Michelle Witt and board member Lawyer Savoy, as well as the superintendent of schools.
Okay. What is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, second.
Education Hall of Fame Selection Committee.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Mr. Hilton. Any discussion? All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a permission to advertise for 2013 projects. Ms. Tollett.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. This evening, we're asking to advertise for several of the projects we'll do this summer, or are hoping to have funds to do. The majority of these were outlined in the capital projects plan. We do have the boys' locker room lockers that was in the 2012 capital projects plan, but was not able to be completed. We only focused on the renovating of that area last year. There will be 2 separate advertisements, we're hoping. The first one for the lockers for the boys' locker, the girls' locker room renovation, and the girls' locker room lockers, if funds allow for that. Continuation of the high school window project, the Maplewood window project, continuation, and the Maplewood facer and overhang, which is related to the window project, would be the first advertisement. The second one would be for the Everton Storage Building, Central Office tuck pointing, Eastview tuck pointing, chillers at Grandview and Fayette Central, HVAC for computer labs at Eastview and Frazee, paving of the drive at the baseball diamond, paving at the high school courtyard, restroom partitions at Grandview and Everton. We are looking at some possible door replacements, but as we visit our building security, we have elected to delay requesting advertisement of those projects until hopefully next month or April. We'll be coming back for those. But this is a majority of the capital projects that will be would like to accept quotes for this summer. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer those.
What are the window projects? What is that?
We are replacing windows at the high school in Maplewood. We probably did about 2/3 of Maplewood last year, and we have some windows that remain on that project. Not knowing what the bids are, we're not sure that we can complete the project, so what we've done based on last year's pricing, we have built in 3 windows for replacement and the remaining 2 as alternates that we could possibly award if the funds are available. The same at the high school. We completed, I'm not sure how many windows along Ranch Road there last summer. It's a continuation of that project. All of those windows have been spec'd and have architect approved designs, so we do not have to bring an architect in for any of these future projects that are a continuation of that base year.
It looks, I've seen the Maplewood and it looks really nice.
It does.
And it makes a big difference.
It does. From, we had gaps in some of those windows that were pretty significant.
It does, it makes a big difference.
Jane says including carpeting, painting, and sealing of parking lots. Do we know at this time what's getting carpeted and what's getting painted? Because I see we naming everything else, but then it says painting and carpet and parking lots. Is it all the parking lots?
Those are smaller jobs, and those will only be competitive quoted. That's in the memo too. We won't be taking bids on those. We'll be taking competitive quotes. Each of the elementaries has about $9,000 apiece. I believe Frazee has an additional $10,000 for hallways. The high school, I think, only has about $4,000. And I'm not sure the middle school has any. Bob partners with those building principals. I know that Eastview is probably not going to do any carpeting replacement. They're making sure there are no safety concerns with any of the rooms, but they're probably not going to do any this year. And then we'll get quotes on those. On the parking lot ceiling, this year, Bob's probably going to be sealing the new high school parking lot. So it needs to be sealed this year.
Okay, board, what's your pleasure? This to advertise for the 2013 projects.
Well, Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we grant permission to advertise for the 2013 projects,
All right,
capital approved projects.
the motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The financial expenditure goals, Ms. Tollett.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. This approval of financial expenditure goals is a state requirement that was implemented in the 2007-2008 school year when the accounting structure for school corporations changed and the state began identifying expenditures into what was referred to as the 4 buckets. Student academic achievement, student instructional support, overhead and operational, and non-operational expenditures. Our goals are to identify that we will meet or exceed state averages for % of academic achievement and % of student instruction expenditures, and be at or below the state averages for overhead and operational expenditures and non-operating expenses. What they are wanting to do is be able to compare schools and make sure that we are driving our funding into the classroom instead of for overhead type expenses. So.
Okay. What is your pleasure, board, on this financial expenditure goals?
I move to accept the financial goals.
Okay. Motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those, is there any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Recommendation for bus purchase. Dr. Bayer?
Thank you again, Mr. Burchett, members of the board. A month or so ago, you gave permission for Jane Oakley, our transportation director, to investigate the purchase of buses from our bus replacement fund, and following an investigation, she has brought a recommendation to you for the purchase of 6 66-passenger 2013 international buses at the cost of $472,174, well within the appropriation that was allotted for that purchase. She also then has a balance of over $86,000 that may be used for replacing a minibus if it is so needed. Jane, I don't know if there's anything else you wish to add. We're in pretty good shape with that. Okay, that would I ask your approval of the purchase of the 6 66-passenger 2013 buses.
The board, what is your pleasure, please?
I move to approve the purchase of the 6 buses.
Okay, the motion has been made by Mr. Hilton. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
what do we do with the buses that we're going to replace?
Jane, you want to talk about the bus?
They are traded in. They are given a value by each vendor that we investigate, and this price includes the trade-in value of those.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we have public comments. Anyone in the audience here, persons wishing to make the board aware of suggestions, ideas, and/or comments may address the board at this time. Comments which involve personnel or students must be discussed in private. Anyone? Okay, moving along then to our superintendent's discussion groups report. There are none. Principals, directors' reports. Yeah.
I just wanted to take an opportunity for any of those of you that went last year to our charity basketball game. It was the first year we hosted that. And we are planning to host another charity basketball game February 28th at 5:30. Only this year, because of the great turnout, we have secured the Spartan Bowl so that we have plenty of seating. We got a little crowded in there last year, which is a great problem. But we also have members of our cabinet, and I think that may be also participating, possibly, maybe.
I
Put a
saw
little
it on
pressure
memo
on you.
somewhere.
Put you on a little pressure. But anyway, I just want to invite you to come out. The
Slam dunk.
students are very involved. Most of our staff will be involved in one way or another, the cheerleading or and some nice surprises coming up. So it's just something we want to do to support the community, and the funds from the basketball game will be going to a local food center here.
Give us the date again.
February 28th, beginning at 5:30. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, the Director of Personnel.
Thank you again, Mr. Burchett. Just, you have a list on your consent agenda of all the retirements there, and we'll be honoring these folks in May at our retirement dinner, but just to let you know, when you look at those 11 folks on there that are listed, they range from least experience 25 years all the way up to 43 years, and when I total those up today, total years of experience that they brought to the school corporation, dedication to children, is 329 years, which is just amazing, the efforts. And I won't talk about those individually because you may have some comments you wish to make, as you know some of these folks, but we're real happy that they made the decision and that in their best interest to retire and move on to some other challenges in their life, but we're going to miss them all. They've done a great job and done a great service to our children, and they will be missed. So we do have a retirement meeting. We may not be done with all of our retirees yet, so we'll find out a little bit more on the 21st, a week from this Thursday, is our final retirement meeting we have, and we'll see what else may surface at that point. We'll continue to bring those names to you. Our last professional development for our first and second year teachers will be occurring next week on the 19th, and again on the 26th. Those 2 dates will finish up our rounds this year of a requirement for our first and second year teachers on the professional development to help them grow and maintain excellence in the classroom. And finally, we'll be on the recruiting trails, looking forward to next year to replace some of these folks that are leaving beginning late March and early April, and we'll hopefully continue to bring you some recommendations, some great people to replace these folks we're losing. So that's all I have this evening, Mr. Burchett. Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Finance. Ms.
Thank you,
Thomas.
Mr. Burchett. I'm pleased to tell the board we have received an approved budget from the Department of Local Government Finance for 2013. Just a summary of that budget that was approved. The general fund contained no adjustments to the appropriations. Rainy day fund had no adjustments to appropriations. The debt service fund had a $2,500 adjustment for trustee expenses that can be related to the bond issue, was reduced by that amount. It's fine. Pension debt was approved with no adjustments. Transportation was approved with no adjustments. Bus replacement was approved with no adjustments. The capital projects fund did have a $5,000 reduction in the athletics capital project because it is capped at 5% of the levy. And because we don't know what the levy's going to be, we kind of guesstimated that. And additionally, we had an allocation in for a potential future roofing project at Everton, and that was reduced from $250,000 to $178,000, but the remaining capital projects budget that was approved by you remains intact. Thank you, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Assistant Superintendent's report, Dr. Ricky.
Thank you, Mr. Burchett. I just wanted to share with the board and the community that we are seeking nominations for Teacher of the Year, and we have a link that's posted on the website, as well as community members or board members can pick up nomination forms from any of the school buildings from the principals. So we'll be taking nominations through March 15th. So we're looking forward to receiving those.
Okay. Superintendent's report.
Mr. President, really more for the public so that they know it does, this evening's agenda was intentionally left short because the board has been reviewing teaching staff and other staff members. The building principals are coming in and talking to the board. So they're having a very long evening this evening, but the public session is very short, and I can see it looking at the clock. I need to do a better job with time management. And I think with that, that's all that I have this evening.
You're doing a great job.
Well, we can't start till 7:30.
Oops.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on then, is anyone wanting to share in our good of the cause?
Mr. President, I would like to just thank the community for the support that we get from them. Again, tonight we got donations of scrap steel, which I'm sure we can find something to do with. Will be put to good use, and $3,500 grant from the Russ Shelby Energy for the Floral Department.
Mr. President?
Yes,
I
Mr.
think
Elton.
we should recognize the athletics, high school. Well, both weekends, they've gone to the top at a lot of events. And I think they should be complimented for that effort.
Yes. Anyone else? I think along with that, I'd like to add that we do need to recognize Mr. Bottomley for being the coach, wrestling coach of the state, for the state. I think that's a great achievement. Anybody else? I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I'm going to tell you anyway, but I'm going to be grandpa. And I am so excited. So whatever.
You're done, you can do whatever.
Especially after all day.
With that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.